The cold water bottle appearing from nowhere. That is the seed. The bottle is in your hand before you understand how it got there. Cold. Colder than anything has a right to be out here, in this heat, in this darkness, in this place where the nearest refrigerator is half a kilometer away, and the woman standing in front of you had nothing in her hands when she climbed up. You watched her climb. You saw her hands. Empty. And now the bottle is real, and the condensation is running down your fingers, and she is watching you drink and smiling, and you are so grateful you do not think about it hard enough. You should have thought about it harder. The night shift ends at 6. It is not yet 11. And she is still here. And she knows things she should not know. And the water is cold in a way that has no explanation. And you are starting to understand that the hunger that brought you to this moment, the hollow, desperate, animal hunger of a man who could not afford to eat before his shift, was not a coincidence. Something has been patient with you for a very long time. Raza was 22 when he took the night guard post at the factory on the edge of the city. Not the edge where development was creeping outward, the other edge. The edge where things had already been left behind. He was not a man given to complaint. His mother was unwell. The medicines cost money. The job paid enough to cover the medicines and not much else, and a man who understands necessity learns early not to resent it. He had a routine: arrive by 5:30, collect his flashlight and whistle and radio from the in-charge at the central gate, walk to his assigned post, climb the iron angle stairs to the platform above, and sit until morning. He had one small habit that got him through the long hours. He loved the old songs. Atalakan mostly, the kind of music that carries the weight of real longing without dressing it up as anything noble. Raza would hum quietly to himself in the dark, not for anyone to hear, just to give the silence somewhere to go. The factory at night was not like the factory in the day. In the day it was merely unfinished and abandoned. Half-built walls, open roof lines, dead machinery sitting in weeds. At night it became something that had no name. Sounds moved differently. Distances seemed wrong. A man's own footsteps came back to him from angles that did not make sense. Raza's post that third night was the high corner, a platform built on an iron frame, a chair, an overturned canister, a partial roof. From there you could see a long way in every direction. He had not eaten. The situation at home had been difficult that morning, and he had not wanted to ask. By 9 o'clock the hunger had become pain. He was humming softly and pressing one hand against his stomach when his eyes drifted down. A girl was standing in the yard below. Long hair, red clothing, face upturned and pale in the darkness. Completely still. She said her name easily. Said her father was the in-charge at the gate. Said she came sometimes on Sundays to visit. Her manner was calm in a way that, Raza would later say, was itself a kind of trick, because calmness in the wrong place feels like safety when it should feel like warning. She brought him food, climbed the iron stairs with a small tiffin in one hand, paratha and meat inside, and sat on the overturned canister while he ate. She asked about his mother, his schooling, his life. She listened without the particular blankness that people use when they are waiting for their turn to speak. She listened as if she already knew the shape of what he was going to say and wanted to hear it anyway. He came back the following Sunday 2 hours early. She found him even after his post changed. That was the first thing that was strange, the kind of strange a lonely and hungry man can explain away. She knew his post had been moved. She smiled when she mentioned it. She brought food again, climbed up, and gave him water, and that is where the evening cracked. He had not asked for water. He had mentioned casually that he would go down and get a bottle. She said no, she would get it. He looked at her hands. Empty. He looked away for a moment, and when he looked back, she was extending a bottle toward him. Sealed, cold. Cold in the way that only something recently removed from refrigeration is cold, and there was nowhere it could have come from. He drank the water. He told himself he had not been paying attention. He filed the moment in the place where a person files things they are not ready to examine. The small detail he should not have filed away. She folded her hands into her clothes when she was not using them. Every time. As if she knew he might look. His mother had known something before he said a word. He came home in the morning and told her about the girl, the visits, the food, the conversations, even the marriage question he had answered without thinking. And his mother listened the way she always listened, quietly, until he was finished. Then she said, "I do not feel this is right." He refused to hear it. He told her she was doubting without cause. He went back, and the night that followed was the night the thing stopped pretending. She arrived around 10:15, climbed without being invited, sat down and asked, immediately, "You talked to your mother?" He said he needed more time. He had not finished speaking when her face changed, not gradually, not like a mood shifting, but all at once, the way a mask moves when the person wearing it stops bothering to hold it in place. Her eyes were different. The darkness around her seemed closer than it had been a moment before. She said, "Your mother told you to look at my hands and feet." He had told no one, not the other guards, not the in charge. Not a single person between his mother's kitchen and this iron platform. Only his mother and him. No one else. The sound his body made was not quite breathing and not quite silence. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she laughed. Not the laugh from the early evenings. That had been warm, a little amused. The laugh of someone who finds a person genuinely endearing. This was something underneath that laugh. The architecture beneath the face. His hands would not move. The radio was in front of him, and he could not make his hands reach for it. She watched him not reach for it. Then she said, "If I had wanted to harm you, I would have done it earlier." And the worst part, the part Raza could not explain to anyone afterward, is that there was a moment, even then, even knowing what he knew, when the part of him that had been hungry and lonely and spoken to with kindness for the first time in months wanted to believe her. He looked down. First the hem of her clothing, then the legs, then the feet. The heel was forward. The toes faced backward. The foot was inverted at the ankle the way no living joint bends. The scream left him before he made the decision to scream. The fever that followed lasted 4 days. He told his mother everything, about the feet, about the water, about the words she had spoken that no one could have known, and his mother sat beside him through the nights reading quietly, her breath moving slowly in and out, her hand occasionally resting on his arm. He did not go back. He returned his uniform. He gave up the job. The in-charge said harsh things and Raza accepted them because some costs are worth paying. But leaving the place did not end it. At home, in his own bed, in the room where he had slept his whole life, Raza began to feel a weight that was not his. When he turned to one side, something seemed to be on the other side behind him. When he lay still, something seemed to be very close to his neck. Not once, not twice. For weeks, then months, the presence beside him in the dark never fully went away. He found other work. He married. He had children. From the outside, his life became ordinary. But he does not sleep deeply. He has not slept deeply since that night. Some part of him stays slightly awake, listening, the way a man listens when he has learned that the dark next to him is not always empty. The cold water bottle is still the detail that returns most often. He has turned it over many times in the years since. Empty hands. Then the bottle, sealed, cold, real. The fact of it. The physical, ordinary fact of something that should not exist being placed into his hands by something that wanted him to trust it. He was not chosen randomly. He was chosen when he was hungry. He was chosen when he was alone. He was chosen when the particular combination of loneliness and exhaustion and need had made a door in him that he did not know was open. He thinks about that door sometimes. How natural it felt to walk through it. How much he wanted what was waiting on the other side. How close he came. His mother told him to look at the feet. He almost did not look. There is a particular kind of vulnerability that does not get talked about enough. Not the fear of darkness. Not the fear of strange sounds. Something older and more specific. The fear of being seen. Truly seen. Known. A person can endure hunger. A person can endure exhaustion. But when something appears in the middle of both and offers attention, real attention, the kind that asks the right questions and already knows some of the answers, that is where the architecture of a person can quietly begin to shift. What came to Raza that night did not arrive with teeth. It arrived with food. It arrived with warmth and patience and the specific comfort of being treated as someone worth knowing. It built something real out of nothing, because it understood that a lonely and hungry man will accept a gift without examining the hands that hold it. The coldest part of the story is not what he saw when he looked at those feet. The coldest part is how long it had already been watching him before he ever looked up and saw it standing there. What it wanted, in the end, was not to frighten him. It wanted him to stay.